How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to Imperium Gaming, and welcome to the second episode of Kingdom Come Deliverance History, a series where I'll be using the game as a visual tool to showcase various aspects of late medieval life. More specifically, this is part 2 of the Castle series. In part 1, we discussed a general background and history of castles. You know, what are castles and why were they built? In parts 2, 3, and 4, we'll be looking at each individual castle in Kingdom Come, Skalitz, Talmberg, and the upper and lower castles of Rete, to analyze the main features of a castle. If you haven't already, please watch part 1 of the castle series. If you have, then great. Let's get started. If you haven't noticed, the first castle in our series will be Silver Skalitz. We're here in the prologue because, well, this is the nicest we'll ever get Skalitz. Minor spoilers. The castle itself is situated atop a steep hill overlooking an enclosed concentric village. What do I mean by this? I've used the term concentric a few times in part 1. Well, we have a series of fortified rings surrounding each other, kind of like Russian stacking dolls. We see this design with a lot of historical castles. For example, Carcassonne and Beaumaris, the latter being one of those Edwardian castles I mentioned earlier. We also have a great description of the concentric walls of Pavia in 1330, thanks to Opicino de Canestris in his Liber de Laudibus Civitatis Tincinensis. The village itself is secure with a simple wooden palisade of vertical stakes with 3 main entrances, which would have been convenient for the working villagers and traveling merchants to get in and out of Skalitz. Wooden palisades are simple but incredibly effective. That's why they've been used throughout the centuries by a number of different cultures. For example, we have the Murus Gallicus, described by Julius Caesar, and we also have the Maori Pa of New Zealand. As we make our way through the village and up the hill, we reach a second wooden palisade. Unlike the first, this palisade has a fence post design, where we have wooden beams stacked horizontally with fixed vertical posts, and with loopholes for defending archers. As we can see, these loopholes provide ample cover and line of sight for defenders. Notice how we only have one main entrance to this next level. This is designed to funnel the enemy to a single location. The entrance is also fitted with a portcullis. Now, a portcullis is simply a vertically closing gate, usually made out of a heavy wood and sometimes iron. Also, note how the portcullis actually fits within the structure itself. This is great attention to detail. It's almost like Warhorse knew what they were doing. Huh, who would have thought? Going back to palisades, the most effective design is when we have earthworks. That is, when we have stone and dirt and all kinds of rubble behind the actual palisade to form a more secure barrier. Approaching the actual castle, we find a third palisade, identical in design to the second, that again funnels the enemy to a single entrance. Here, we find a moat with a drawbridge at the castle's main gatehouse, which is also fitted with a portcullis. The moat and drawbridge design is used as an additional obstacle to a besieging army. When it's raised, it's really hard to get in. The outer and inner walls of the castle feature crenellations, which are fundamental in castle design. In short, crenellations are fortified ramparts that allow archers to both fire their weapons in offense and take cover in defense. The gaps in the crenellations are known as crenels, and the teeth, so to speak, are merlons. As Shadowversity has preached numerous times on his channel, we should expect merlons to be high enough to protect a standing individual, which we have here. We can't really see them up close in Skalitz, but we'll take another look when we're in Talmberg and Rete. Again, attention to detail. I frickin' love this. The main structure of the castle, and of any castle really, is the keep. Since we can't actually enter the castle, we'll again wait until we can get to Talmberg to check out the interior. We also find wooden, hoarding-style machicolations along the walls of the keep, which would have allowed defenders to attack the enemy from above with arrows, stones, or boiling water or oil. Notice how the walls of the keep are whitewashed. It's easy to imagine stone castles as the grey monoliths they are today, but a good number of them were in fact white, or at least some kind of off-white color. We see this in a number of manuscripts, and a rather popular example within the community is the White Tower of London. Not the Grey Tower, but the White Tower. This is something we also see with Greek statues of antiquity, the white marble sculptures we have today were in fact polychromatic, but I digress. Of course, as with anything in life, there are exceptions, like Caernarfon Castle. And even in Kingdom Come, only the keeps are generally whitewashed. The surrounding towers and walls are usually left, well, plain, which is again attested in medieval iconography. The open courtyard area within the walls of the castle is known as the bailey. It's also referred to as the ward. A castle can have one or multiple baileys, as many historical castles in fact did, with each individual bailey serving as an additional line of defense for the keep. The more the better. Perhaps the most prominent feature of the castles in Kingdom Come is the rounded tower, and Skalitz is no exception. There's not much to say here since we can't actually go inside, but keep this in mind when we go to Talmberg and Rattay. Before we leave Skalitz and head on over to Talmberg, let's take a look at the postern gate, which is also known as the sally port. These were secret passageways used by the castle nobility to escape a besieging army, or by castle defenders to sally forth and meet the enemy, hence the name Sally Port. If we go back to the description of the walls of Pavia, we'll see that postern gates didn't really have to be fully reinforced. So these gates are okay, but in many cases, they could lead to the capture of a castle, so best keep an eye out. Anyway, this postern gate provides safe passage to Henry, so it's all good. And that was Skalitz. I hope you enjoyed my castle analysis. We'll be taking a look at Talmberg in our next episode. But for now, let's get out of here before that damn Sigismund shows up. Thanks for watching, and for more on your favorite historical games, stay tuned with Imperium Gaming on YouTube, Twitter, and on our blog. Links in the video description. Thanks again, and until next time.